Hello everyone, and welcome back to episode 3 of the discussion, debate, and banter series brought to you by the Philosophy of Gaming. I am Shawn.
And I'm Marshall.
And in today's video, we have we're going to talk about some stuff, I suppose. Before we get into some of the nitty-gritty of the gaming, there's a couple of POG things that we wanted to share with you guys. Marshall, start us off.
Prepare to be amazed!
As you may know, we're kind of making a return to form here, getting more regular scheduled releases, which we've been much looking forward to, and we're excited to bring more content to you guys. The Pokemon Nuzlocke series that we've been doing is going to be coming back and wrapping up relatively soon here, so you can expect that. We'll be recording it here instead of where we were for the previous episodes. So that's pretty exciting. Look forward to it, and we hope you guys enjoy the ending. Right now, I think we're pretty
neck and neck, man. I think we're both in victory road, but you're further ahead. But I think I have stronger Pokemon right now.
Yeah.
And so I think you're going to have more trouble closing it. Mm-hmm. And I'm just, a few steps behind in the race,
You're the tortoise, and I'm the hare.
Yeah, but the hare has no good Pokemon right now. Like, you're wildly underleveled, and...
That's what the point of the story is.
Sure.
Did you read it?
Sure. Well, okay. Yeah, fair enough. For a long time in the series, if you guys have been following it, I've been feeling pretty far behind, thinking I was going to lose, but man, I'm feeling confident now, and I'm excited to get back into it. To be honest with you guys, kind of breaking the fourth wall here, we have not recorded one of those videos in months, so we're going to have to pick up where we left off, and oh man, we're going to have to get back in the game, but
it's going to be interesting.
It's going to be fun.
It's going to be really exciting. I'm really stoked to finish it off, see who finally wins. Especially because we've stayed so neck and neck. I mean, all the Nuzlockes I've ever watched don't end like this. So this is kind of cool to kind of see just how it's going to go. I expect we have just a few more episodes left. So like I said, stay tuned. Those will be coming soon.
We here at POG, we've been very proud to be bringing you a wide variety of different gaming related topics and content, but we do feel like we've been falling a little bit short on the philosophy side of things, which is why today we are proud to announce that we're going to be releasing a new series, going to be coming out soon. We don't have a release date yet. I will be hosting the series, and it's going to be deep diving some of the most heart-moving stories of some of our favorite games that we've all come to love. We as gamers, we really like the gameplay of the video games that we play, but some of the best games have a just heart-moving story. And so I'm going to be unpacking a lot of the morals and the themes and the wisdom behind it, and how these stories can kind of apply to life today. So this series will be coming out soon. Like I said, we don't have a release date yet, but I will be starting it off with a series premiere 2-parter for Final Fantasy X. That's something you definitely don't want to miss. That's a personal project that I've been working on, and like I said, it will be coming soon. And then in addition to that, Marshall has been working on something as well, but we're not quite ready to announce the details of that particular series yet.
It's going to be a little bit longer, but expect more from us soon. We are appreciative of everyone who's come and checked out the channel, and we hope you all stay a long time, just like we intend on doing.
And we know that we've had quite a bit of downtime, haven't been putting out as many videos as we have in the past. We're aware of that. We've been revamping POG in order to make ourselves the most successful YouTube channel, the most entertaining, the most informative for you guys. So we appreciate your patience, but we are putting our nose to the grindstone, and we're going to be bringing you a lot more soon, starting with this philosophy series, debuting with Final Fantasy X.
So one of the topics that we kind of wanted to touch on, we just made a solo video about this a few weeks ago, where we talked about Phil Spencer, the CEO of Xbox, his interview that he did, where he kind of just pretty much said we lose, and we can't win, and Sony and Nintendo have beat us, and if pretty much we can't make the good games, and more time isn't going to make that happen, which I'm paraphrasing a bit. There's a little bit more. Go watch that video and check it out.
But in addition to that too, one of the things that he was talking about is he was justifying reasons for poor releases, and what we have noticed is that this is a sign of a trend that we've been seeing in the gaming industry as a whole, right? There have been a lot of poor releases that have been coming out, and it seems like there have been kind of a lot of just games that lack creativity as well. Like, I remember whenever you have these like showcase videos that come out on YouTube where there's all these big announcements. There's just everything seems relatively lackluster. And I mean, there are good ones. I mean, like Starfield, we're looking forward to.
That we just recently got a new kind of like closer look at it, and it looks very.
It looks good.
It looks like it's actually going to work.
But I mean, the game was supposed to come out like what, a year ago?
But here's my point: I'd rather watch a game get delayed than get a game that's half baked.
Agreed. But it also still does seem like a lot of games have been getting delayed. Like, no secret, big Ark fan, Ark Survival Evolved, sitting right here. Ark 2 got delayed like almost 2 years, right? There's a lot of games that have been following this particular trend. And again, there's also other games that have been announced, games that have come out that seem to lack creativity. So this is kind of something that we wanted to talk about a little bit today.
You know, we've seen Ark 2 recently got a delay, and then you see a lot of these, and the delays, like, that's one bad thing, but what's worse is when they get delayed and they still get released and they aren't finished. I can't...
Just like Redfall.
Redfall, Godfall even, Cyberpunk, Anthem, like, there are a lot of games, big games, supposed to be like industry changers that come out with all this hype behind them, and they just don't work how they're intended. It's disappointing, and it makes you feel like, I don't know, they just don't care.
You're describing a phenomenon that I think we can all recognize, right? It's no secret that we all kind of feel underwhelmed by the gaming industry as a whole right now. My question to you, Marshall, I have some thoughts about this, but why do you think this is?
I think it has to do with specifically tightening up timelines, budget constraints. These companies saw the gaming industry take off like crazy over the last 15 years or so. And as that's happened, I think that these companies have just stopped looking at the development of the game and more looked at their bottom line, getting the game out when they want it out, and getting the purchases from the in-game loot systems, the microtransactions. I think that's a big part of it.
We've got to have money.
Not everyone is doing this, obviously, right? Like Nintendo is an outlier. They don't do this. They put out games, they work.
Capcom, Square Enix, these guys, they're doing it right.
Yeah,
but that's
Santa Monica Studios,
right?
You know, a lot. There are still a lot that are good, but it seems like the number that have been putting out games that are not ready has massively multiplied in number. I think that's really what it's got to do with the bottom line. You know, they don't want to potentially see a flop after putting more and more money into it. So instead they just say, just release it as is. We're not giving you another year, which then makes it flop, which is where the conundrum of like, why did you let it come out comes into play, you know? And I want to know what you guys think too, but Shawn, what are your thoughts?
I think that there's two problems, and I think each problem has its own origins of the problem. So the first problem has to do with all the half-baked games and all delays and stuff like that, right? I think the reason for that, honestly, I think it started with COVID, right? So during all of the lockdowns, all of these developers and all of their staff, they basically sent everybody home and everybody started working remotely. And even though we're out of the pandemic now, a lot of companies seem to have stuck with the remote working way. And this isn't just gaming, right? This is all different industries. But, you know, we talk about gaming. That's why it's relevant to us.
Well, duh.
So it seems like when you're not working in an office space together and collaborating together where you can just walk over to the next office or to the other cubicle or whatever it is, where you can communicate with your partners when it comes to developing a game, you can get things done a lot faster. Whereas on the remote side of things, it adds a lot of other complications. And I have this sort of a theory that it has bred what I call the 9-to-5 culture, this sort of like autopilot, you know, I'm just going to show up, do my job, and not go the extra mile. I think that's something that we're seeing in gaming as well. And I think that translates directly into missing deadlines, delaying games, releasing half-baked games, because a lot of money is still being invested in developing these games, so the games need to come out, hence the deadlines, but yet they're not ready because the structures of the business that produces these games has been severely weakened, and I think that was due to the COVID side of things. So the other element to this is that we were talking about is that there's games that seem to lack a lot of creativity, and this is also something that we're not just seeing in gaming, but we see it in all different aspects, especially like media entertainment, like movies and TV shows and stuff like that.
Even the news.
That too.
It's a total fabrication.
Just specifically creative art entertainment, right? It seems like all the content that we're being given is just sequels and remakes, you know, like the Marvel movies, for example. It's just basically the same story, rinse and repeat, and you see the same kind of thing in gaming. Side note, Resident Evil 4 remake, kind of an outlier, right? Like, that is a remake, but they delivered on that perfectly.
I was going to say, we're not shitting on everyone that does a remake or that has staff working from home. I'm sure that there are plenty of, specifically in gaming, plenty of gaming studios who are doing just fine, who are releasing these games. I'm sure that even Santa Monica, you know, like, probably had some people working from, like, I think that's just a portion of it. I don't think that that's everything, but I do agree. I think that there's a problem with the culture that is created by doing that, and the biggest part of it is that there's no collaboration. Like you said, there's no working together. You know, your kids or your dog or whatever are in the background, and you're at home, and you know it has to make for a different environment.
Why would you put in a solid 8 hours when you can stop for a second, go to your kitchen, and you know, make a sandwich, or just go watch something on Netflix or something like that, and it draws your attention away from what your task is supposed to do. Whereas if you're in an office space, you're actually there to do the job that you're there to do.
And again, nothing wrong with the people who are doing it, because I can see the temptations. I think that
it's human nature.
The biggest problem is the fact that it's being allowed. Not that it's being allowed, but that we've now been seeing it not work, and it still appears to be being allowed.
It's a leadership problem.
Right. And
that's
so
right.
they need to kind of, I don't know, come back together. Like I said, it's not a problem with every game, not every industry, not every studio, not every person, but I think it's played a factor.
The creative aspect of this problem, though, is something that seems to mystify me a little bit, because that can't simply be explained by, like I said, this COVID remote working phenomenon, the 9 to 5 culture that I mentioned. It seems like there's a lot of games and content that just seem underwhelmingly under creative. Again, movies and games. Some examples of this, like, for example, one of the biggest games that came out was Stray. I think that the whole concept of that is just total garbage.
What did he say?
There's a new game that has been announced. We haven't seen too much about it. It's Squirrel with a Gun. It's exactly like it sounds. Like, go YouTube it.
This whole problem can't only hinge on COVID, right? Like,
well, no, that's my point, right?
But
There's
that can't,
something else.
It's got to be something else, because otherwise they delay the games,
right? So
it's got to be the money.
The COVID thing, right? The underperforming, the releasing half-baked games, and the delays. That's one problem. The creative side of it is another problem, and I don't know what the origins of that problem is. Maybe we just aren't producing that many like artists these days, and I don't like it. I don't know what the origins. Not the origins. I don't know the source of why there is a lack of creativity. You know, there's a golden age of gaming where every game that came out was pretty much a hit. It was highly competitive. Now there's really just like a few that are really being talked about, and it seems like it's from the same developers like almost every time. You have like Capcom, Square Enix, like Horizon, that's Sony, right? One of their games. It's just, there's just not enough there, if that makes sense.
Not enough there. I kind of get it. And like I said, I think this comes back to my first point, which is that I think that there was such a boom in money over the last like 15 years or so in gaming that a lot of these bigger companies have just kind of said, whatever you can do as long as it makes us money and you hit your deadlines.
By the way, we're just speculating.
Yeah.
Could be wrong.
We could be completely wrong.
Yeah.
And maybe there's a game developer out there who see this and tell us that we're wrong and tell us why. And we would love to know why we're wrong, because really, we just want to know. what the problem is. Like, why is this happening?
Again, a game like Stray, the house cat.
You can talk all the crap that you want about that game, but it's reviewed so well.
Yes, but
Got him! Got him!
10 out of 10 on Steam.
I even feel like the reviewers have lowered their standards because of the lack of creativity overall, right? I know that Stray, I watched the Game Awards. Man, it got nominated for almost every single award, even won quite a few of them.
83 Metacritic.
But I just don't get it. You're a house cat.
It's fun.
What is fun about it?
How many games have there been made about a protagonist that's a hero, that's a human? You know, there's so many. It's different and it's good. So not only is it a different concept for people to enjoy, but they did it really well.
Okay, so a lot of the games that have had some sort of a human hero, right? There's some sort of an archetype that is present in the story. There's a lot of different games that have that. Final Fantasy, like Shadow of the Colossus. There's a lot of different stories where the human protagonist is necessary, right? But the story behind Stray, from what I understand, you're basically a house cat and you get separated from your house cat friends and family, and then you have to find your way back home. That is literally the plot line of like every childhood like story. I'm thinking like Homeward Bound, Secret Life of Pets, just to name a couple off the top of my head. It's the same damn story.
But where is there a game where you could play that?
But why does there even need to be? So it's a sim game, right? It's basically it's a sim game.
No.
You're playing as a house cat,
No.
and I saw the combat. It looks wildly underwhelming.
It's not, but it's not even regular cat combat as you would call it. So it's not a sim game.
Yeah, so you have
Farming sim is literally farming.
Yeah, but so the cat wears like this what do you call it, like a service dog vest on his back with a little turret that like randomly shoots at crap.
A turret.
Isn't that what it is? Isn't it like
Is that a sim game?
No, it's not a sim game, but basically you hit a button and then you can scratch a couch. You hit a button and you can play with a ball. And the argument can be made where you can call it a platformer. You can make a house cat game that's a platformer, and that could have the potential to be fun. But this game is not like that, right? So if you need to jump onto something, you're just given a button prompt. What are those called? Micro actions. What's the word for it?
I don't know, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so basically you need to jump onto this ledge, and instead of you having to like actually platform to get to where you need to go, you just hit a button and then the cat just jumps.
But it's an adventure game. It's not a platformer.
Yeah, but it's an adventure game, but there are adventure games that give a story. For example, in my mind, I'm thinking of the Tales of Borderlands, right? That is a guided tour of a game. There's like no gameplay whatsoever. It's just a guided tour telling a story. And this game is very similar, but like, what's the story? It's a damn cat. It's a cat.
Have you watched videos on it or played it?
I haven't played it, but
then maybe we should.
But I've seen videos about the game, and again, it just looks like a damn cat, and it just appeals to people who love cats. I'm an animal lover. I'm a dog guy, but I also like cats too. They're cool, right? Had cats, but that's all it is. That is all the game has to offer. There's nothing beyond it.
Then we should play it.
We're gonna play it.
Yeah?
Yeah. Here's the thing. That was an awful sound. I'm aware that there's probably a lot of people, well, not a lot. We don't have a big following, but the people that are watching this video probably like Stray. There's a lot of people that do like Stray. And I know that I have the unpopular opinion of Stray, calling it garbage, which it is.
Blasphemy!
I'm willing to put my opinion up to the test. We here at POG, I will do a video where I'm playing this godforsaken piece of crap game, and I will give an honest opinion as I'm playing it, but I am still very confident in just how lackluster the game is going to be. Here's the thing too. I've seen gameplay footage of it. It looks great, right? The environment looks awesome. The weird dystopian city that you travel through looks awesome. But that's just par for the course. That is what is to be expected from any new game.
So your point then is that the creativity is lacking in the actual story
And gameplay, because the gameplay is just nothing more than you walking around as a cat. You find something you can interact with, press a button to interact with it, but then
Did you see Death Stranding?
I'm aware of Death Stranding. I know about the game. It looked cool, and then I found out it was basically just like a travel sim, and so that kind of turned me off on it. But from what I understand, there's at least a very good story that surrounds that game. So even though I haven't played it, I can at least give it a little bit of grace and say that this is probably a good game just based off of the storytelling alone. I don't see what storytelling can be made about a damn cat trying to find his way back to his cat friends. It's a cat. It's homeward bound. It's the same story.
See, man, a lot of people just love cats.
But that's my point. That's why the game. So that's why there's the lack of creativity, right? Is because you have a boardroom full of these game developers coming up with ideas. Okay, we're gonna make a new game. What are we gonna do? Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna be a cat. People like cats.
Here's the thing, man.
Let's just do
that.
that.
Do you want to go and make the game that's been made 100 times? You want to go have that hero protagonist that's like inexperienced and doesn't know what he's doing and meets up with a bunch of other people and they learn together and they fight the... that's the same game that's been made 100 times. And yes, they're all great, but they don't all rate this high because they're not all unique.
There is nothing wrong with being unique. There's nothing wrong with doing something different. But this?
Do you think they shouldn't have made it?
If I'm a game developer and I'm trying to come up with an idea to make this hit game, I would try to come up with something a little bit better than what they did with Stray. Should they have made it? Okay, that's an open question, right? But would your resources have been better spent harnessing any of that creativity to try to make... Even if you want to make a game about a house cat, like, okay, that's fine. But do it right. Hell, make it a platformer. At least do that. Like, that would be somewhat kind of fun and interesting. But it's not even that.
But then it'll just be a clone of another game.
It's a guided tour. The game is a guided tour.
You haven't played it.
Sim. I know, but I've seen videos on it.
You gotta play it.
Watch YouTube. We have a YouTube channel. I've seen YouTube things, but I don't see me playing it changing my opinion whatsoever.
Okay, well, we'll find out.
I suppose we will. I was not expecting the conversation to go in this direction, but yes, fine. I will play. Have you played it?
No.
And you're okay. So
I'm not defending it. I have not. I've just defended the concept of making a game this way. I haven't said it's a great game because I haven't played it yet.
I'm okay with the concept of making a unique game, just as you have said. My problem, though, is that I have seen enough information about the game to know that the gameplay sucks and the story sucks. The only thing it has going for it is nice graphics, and that is something that is... All games have it.
So the difference between this and hundreds of thousands of other Steam games is that this one has good graphics, and so it must be challenged.
No, all games have good graphics these days.
No, not a lot of the not the cat games, for example. Go play some cat games. Go look up cat games. Tell me that they all have good graphics.
Okay, fine. This cat game might have the best graphics.
But that's my point. You hate it because you know about it. But you don't hate the other ones because you don't know about them.
I guarantee you, if I were...
And even if they don't have good graphics, they're likely to have a good story and good gameplay. I got one, Cat Quest. Cat Quest is a great game. Great. It's a Souls-like game. But it's a cat.
Okay, so there are games where you can take. So, for example, there's a monkey game that exists, and it has existed for many, many years. It's called Bloons, and they have Bloons Tower Defense. They have all these different games. A lot of them are mobile. I'm a big fan of Bloons Tower Defense.
Yeah, I like
where you have a monkey that throws darts at balloons, and you build up your towers, and that's super fun. It's strategic. The gameplay is great. It's lacking in story, but you don't need it because you're just sitting there playing a mobile game while you're taking a dump on the toilet or something. That's how I play it, right? So, but that's fun. This doesn't have that. All it has is good graphics. And I would even be willing to admit, maybe even has a good like musical score, which it might.
Probably does.
But that's still not like that's not enough. You need gameplay and or story. And this seems to be lacking completely both. If all it has is graphics and sound, that is basically the baseline prerequisite for any game that is being developed.
Well, then we'll find out.
We'll find out. Damn it. We'll find out. All right. Sorry. I'm done. I'll put my money where my mouth is. I'll play this game. I'll play it on camera for this channel.
Oh, yeah, you will.
And maybe Marshall will make me eat my words.
Maybe I'll hate it too.
But I'm
Who knows?
I'm feeling very confident about this one. So thank you for tuning in to episode 3 of Discussion, Debate, and Banter, where we talk about all things gaming. We discuss, we debate, and we banter about them. Be sure to tune in next month for episode 4 whenever we do that. And then, like I said, we have the philosophy series that's coming up. We're going to continue
finish
with
off the Nuzlocke.
That's right.
We've got more stuff in the pipeline, and we're excited to have you guys come with us. So thanks for watching.
And watch the Stray video. It's going to be awesome, I'm sure.
Yep, it will be. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.